What is that? It's my venom.
It's really wild, you know, in the book as described. There are these beats along the way of that baby biting its way out and Edward helping. The challenge is to shoot that or to capture that in a PG movie.
Say hi.
In the book, it's described so much more gruesome. She's been drinking blood to sustain herself and the baby, and so she's literally like choking on that, and she can't really breathe. She's throwing it up.
In the book, it says Bella spews up a fountain of blood. I mean, it's all this stuff's like, well, we're not doing that.
Is that as big? I guess that's the incision.
Well, you know, because we can do whatever we want to do.
I mean, not if she's cut open, I would think more blood might be on that.
That's been a real well thought out process for Bill Condon and the rest of us to figure out how to capture the texture from the book without kind of crossing over into something that may be too grotesque for our audience, because the descriptions of the book are pretty, you know, incredible.
Very early on, I decided the minute we get down there on that bed until that baby is born, we're not going to see anything beyond what Bella could see. It's all like what she can see looking that way or looking up.
It's very kind of, you know, ER-like, you know, you're kind of, you know, rushing about as things are happening.
It's a sequence that really is devastating, and it really engages you, and it puts you there, and you suffer. You're with her completely.
And what that allowed us to do is Rob will disappear out of frame, and we'll hear something, and he'll come back, and he's bloody, and something's happened. And if you've read the book, you know what's happened, and if you haven't, you wonder what's happened. And I think that's exactly how it should have been. I think it needed to be just impressions as morphine begins to spread through your system of what that experience would have been like. There was a full life-size version of Bella, so that, for example, when Edward is giving her CPR, he's able to really do it, something that would have cracked Kristen's bones if he'd been able to do it that strongly, you know, in real life.
In fact, most of the people end up black and blue. And I said, the only way we can do that is we have a puppet up to Kristen's neck that you can beat on her chest beyond what you actually could do, because you would actually harm somebody.
What would happen with those harms?
The trick about this is, unless we use the full body puppet, this straps onto Kristen.
Right.
And then there's a full body puppet.
It was a complicated and fun process of figuring out when we were going to use the model, when we were going to use Kristen. Sometimes it's a combination of both. When Kristen's lying there, it's the legs of the dummy.
Are they going to be like, because I know the spine's broken, are they going to be like out? Or are they going to be just splayed down, like...
Leg position, splayed down.
Oh. Oh.
We built a table and cut it apart so that it's actually her head, shoulders.
Getting walked into the birthing unit was really sort of intense.
She's really been a great sport about it. We keep telling her all these things that are going to happen, and she's going to have to be pinned under a table, and she's up for it.
Looking down at you know, really flimsy legs is strange.
What's this shot right now?
Too much.
This shot is going to be everybody.
Right. Yes, Peter?
The birth is terrifying. And I think we all knew that it was going to be really scary.
Rose, don't.
It's so intense, and the camera's kind of jerking from one person to the next, and it's hard to figure out the balance of just, you don't want to be over the top, but at the same time, I mean, if something like this was really happening, it would be extremely dramatic. Carlisle's coming as fast as he can, but although it was very difficult and we were all a little intimidated to film the scene, it was a good thing because it gets us, you know, it kind of shakes it up a little bit.
As soon as Bella goes into labor, the movie becomes crazy. It's like fast-paced, everybody's freaking out. There's so many things to do and so little time to do it.
Rosalie, wait until the morphine spreads.
Kind of turns from, I think, a fairy tale to chaos.
As Mike steps in, we'll come up.
Carlisle says the placenta must have detached, which was, you know, when we went to Alice for the first time.
Absolutely.
Right, we'll find that stuff, right?
Well, the next line is Alice, Carlisle.
This is where, like, can the switch happen?
To Edward. Then do I go down and try to get the scalpel pickup?
That's right. Then you try to carry that to
The grab.
the grab, up to Edward, let the morphine.
It would be nice to get a little movement like that, or at least see the toes moving.
If you go up at all, which I don't think we need to.
Sometimes it was hard to, keep a straight face.
Jacob, take the baby. Keep that away from me.
Hey there. Watch it.
Watch yourself.
There was one point when she stops breathing and she's out of it and I have to give her CPR. There were some moments during that we couldn't keep straight faces because she's just like dead. Her lips are closed, and all of a sudden I gotta wrap my whole mouth around her lips and give her CPR. And it was, it ended up working, but it was funny at moments.
Rosalie, pass some morphine.
No, it's too soon. Carlisle said the placenta must have detached.
She, again, was a great sport. She's totally into all this, She's like, she should become like Schwarzenegger or something because she's a total like action star in the making. She gets into the whole challenge of special effects.
Kristen has attacked the final 2 films with relish. With the pregnancy, she's really kind of dived into her research and allowed herself to kind of go to these places. It's been one of my favorite parts of being involved in these movies is just watching her work every day.
Pregnancy was rough because, it's not the normal, it's really not a typical way that people have children. It's really violent. It almost kills her. She talks about it all the time, but she is literally willing to die for the things that she loves. It just felt so real. It felt oddly real, but it felt also like I was fighting for something it's like to the death.
The intensity with which she played the pain was just astonishing to watch.
Oh my God, we just have to do it soon, now. Because I feel like I need to.
Everyone was marveling, how does she do that?
Come on, get him out! Get him out!
I still don't know quite how she pulled it off.
This is hard playing dead. I don't like this at all. Okay. I had bruises all over the tops of my thighs. It really wasn't hard to imagine what it would be like if that happened and if I had the feelings that she had, which I've, been playing out for 3 years, it really fits. It was so perfectly drawn and satisfying.
I've been a big admirer of Kristen's based on the other movies and a couple of other things I'd seen her do. To be able to be her collaborator, partner, as she took this incredible journey across these 2 movies, was, I think, maybe #1 on the list of reasons to do the movie.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's try this. Yeah. All right.
What I remember about that night is just sort of being looking around and seeing everyone there, Nikki, Rob, it's Ashley standing there, she can't, it just felt so real. The wedding and having Renesmee, those 2 moments, I feel like I could burst into, now that they're done, I cannot even begin to tell you. I could start hysterically laughing or crying right now thinking about it. It feels so good to be finished with that stuff.
Good.
He wanted to make this birthing scene completely realistic.
There ended up being blood, and it was sticky and not a pretty situation.
There was chunks of who knows what everywhere, blood, umbilical cords. It was intense.
There was a lot of fake blood on set, definitely. We had the corpse, bride, dead body on set, so there's some horror there.
Most of the time we're either doing it with nothing or with a dummy. And so, being covered in cream cheese and jelly and trying to perform a birthing. I ended up chewing through something. No one really knew what it was. I was chewing through whatever it was pretty gross, and it was made out of cream cheese.
We had our newborn baby. We've covered him in a mixture of, I think, strawberry or raspberry jelly and cream cheese to give it the right consistency. So it's all mixed together. So here you have this gore-covered child screaming, of course. It's kind of not working in the scene because he's just so frantic. And then on the second take, the baby got his hand in his mouth. And all of a sudden, just quiet. He's like, I am delicious. This is fantastic. I mean, first experience with sugar, probably a little early for that. But then the baby was fine. He's like, this is great. So he had this wonderful, wide-eyed, look at this beautiful world I've discovered thing going on. It was pretty cool.
There's no way you can't be moved by, doing a thing with a almost newborn baby. I mean, I'd never done that before, and I thought it was I thought it was great fun doing it.
Check that, please. I forgot.
He was able to get some really beautiful things with Edward in that moment.
Jacob, take the baby.
He really was able to touch like the human emotions of that scene.
Come on, Bella, please. Please, please, please.
Rob really nailed it. It was really powerful. I mean, I teared up, several people near me did. It was just a lump in your throat.
Alex! Jasper!
That moment of thinking you've lost everything and just not being able to accept it. I mean, it was really emotional.
All right. All right, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right.
Part of the death is, and it's really beautifully described in the book, she experiences the full agony of what it's like to transform from human to vampire. But it's all happening inside her body. So we just decided to go right in there. As described in the book, it's like flames going through your veins and you're screaming and nobody can hear it. So it's classic horror movie stuff. But again, told in a subjective way.
Her return to vampire health. It starts with Kristen as, here's where we're going. We do the camera move. Kristen then leaves, we put the puppet down, relight it, reset up the camera, and use that as a reference to bring her back.
We're almost doing a blend between the emaciated puppet and the normal Bella. It's a tough shot.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That's a wrap in Baton Rouge.
It's been an intense experience for about 1.5 years now. Jumping in with developing the scripts, prepping 2 movies, shooting the 2 movies, and then a very tight schedule to get the first movie out and released. And the second movie, the exciting thing is that it's so unbelievably different. It is like making a completely new movie.
Check that out.
It's the same characters, a whole bunch of new ones, a huge amount of new vampires, but it's just feels like a completely different animal. I went into the movie excited by the prospect of that experience, and I came out of it really thrilled by having had it.